Hey guys, lesson 3.3. Today we're going to be multiplying decimals, and more specifically decimals with more decimals. So the rule for multiplying two decimals is very similar to the last rule we used in the last video when we multiplied decimals and a whole number. They're pretty much exactly the same. There's only one thing we're going to add on. So in this case, when you're multiplying decimals by decimals, you need to count all of your decimal places. Notice there's 1, 2, 3 decimal places in this number and 1 in this number, which means when you find your answer, you're actually going to be counting over 4 times because it has to have the same number of decimal places that your problem has, both the numbers combined. So since we have a total of 4 decimal places, we need to count 1, 2, 3, and 4, and our decimal will go right there. Okay? So let's quickly try some examples. Find 4.8 times 7.2. Again, we're still going to just multiply like normal. Pretend those decimal places aren't even there. We're going to multiply and get a 6, and then a 9. And then we're going to move over because we are going to our second number, and we're going to do 7 times 8, which is 56, carry the 5, 7 times 4, 28, plus 5 is 33, and then we can add them, 6, 5, 1, 4, 3, and that's our answer, except we're not quite done. We still need to count how many decimal places do I have in my entire problem. I have 1 here and 1 here, so I have 2 decimal places. So I need to put my decimal point in so that I have 2 decimal places. So I need 1, 2. So my answer is going to be 34.56. So if you look here, they do the exact same thing. And they see, okay, there's 1 decimal place here and 1 here. So you need to have 2 decimal places in your answer. So that's why we take the decimal and move it over once and twice, and it's right there. Okay? So that would be your answer, 34.56. Okay? Now, just like before, you can always estimate in order to help you make sure your answer is correct. 4.8 times 7.2 is estimated to be 5 times 7, which is 35, which means our answer needs to be close to 35. So once we actually put our decimal point in, we can say, hey, is it close to my estimate? And you can see 34.56 is indeed close to 35. So we're on track, so good, yay. So let's do another example. What if we had 3.1 times 0.05? Now I want you to notice how they did it here. How they did it here is they actually put this on the bottom, which is fine, and they did not multiply by the zeros because they would have just kept adding on more and more and more. That's fine if you have enough place values or decimal places in order to move your decimal point over. Now another way you could have done it, I always like to put my number that has the most values on the top. So I would have gone like this. Now the only problem when you go like that is you're going to end up with a longer problem, which in this case might not be easier, but in most cases it actually is. So 1 times 5 is 5, and then we'd have 0, 0. And then 3 times 5 is 15, and then 1, 0. So when you add it up, you actually get the same number. But I want you to notice that they did not multiply by their zeros. If they multiplied properly, they would have had 0, 0, and then 0, 0. But their answer still would have been 5510 with a decimal point right there. Okay? So you can choose if you want which one you want to put on the top or the bottom. I like to, as a common rule, choose to put my number that has the most values on the top. Okay? That's my suggestion to you. But you still end up counting how many decimal places you have. And in this case, we have 3 decimal places. So we had to count 1, 2, 3, and that's where our decimal point goes. So 3.1 times 0.05 equals 0.155. All right? here we are, and it says to evaluate the expression 2.4 times x for the given value of x. And in both of these problems, they tell you different values for x. So in this case, we have to substitute our value in for x. We get 2.4 times 3.95. When you line it up, look, notice that they actually put the 3.95, the number that has the most digits, on the top, because in this case it really will make our problem faster. You end up multiplying just like normal, nothing different, but we counted 2 decimal places here and 1 here, so we needed to count 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And that's how come their answer was 9.48. Alright, so that was A. I'm going to go a little faster here because I think you've gotten the hang of it. If we go 2.4 times 0.016, we multiply again. Notice again, they still put the number with the most digits on the top because that is just a very good habit to get into. So the first number we have has 3 decimal places and the second one has 1. So our answer needs a total of 4 decimal places. You're going to multiply like normal and then just count over 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice they did not multiply by their zeros, so that we had to add some zeros in order to get these zeros right here. So that's okay. Notice that if your decimal point, if you fall short, so if your answer was 483 and you needed to count over 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, just notice you have to add some zeros there. Okay? All right. Let's do our word problem. You buy 2.75 pounds of tomatoes. You hand the cashier a $10 bill. How much change will you get back? Well, in order to figure out how much change we need back, first we need to know how much did we need to give them. So if we buy 2.75 pounds and tomatoes are $1.89 per pound, we need to multiply 1.89 times 2.75 to figure out how much money do we owe them. When you multiply it out and you get 4 decimal places and count them over, you realize that you get 5.1975, but that doesn't look like money. We don't have this many decimal places when we have money. So we're going to round it to $5.20, okay? $5.20, but we gave them a $10 bill. How much money or change should we get back? This is a 2-step process. Step 1, we needed to multiply to figure out how much we owed them. Step 2, we need to subtract to figure out how much money we should get back. So we do $10 minus 5.2. Quick reminder, when you're subtracting decimals, line up those decimal points. And you should get $4.80 back. All right? That's the end of this lesson. Go ahead and try some problems. Re-watch pieces of the videos if you can't remember how to do it, or if you need if you were a little confused. And then let me know if you have any questions at all.